everybody. It's Allie. And welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, November 28th, 2021. Golden Glow. Golden Glow. Just forget all of the weddings, all of the deaths, all of the twists you've ever seen. This was the greatest episode of Y&R ever. It took us 48 years and 12,000 episodes to get here, but we have finally reached the peak. Golden Glow. Oh, I may just have to stop watching this show right now because it can't get any better than this. I might have to just go out on top, quit while I'm ahead. Shoot, I feel like I can go ahead and die now. Knowing that my life was not wasted. Thank you, Golden Glow. I mean, last week at this time, my highest hope of all hopes was getting a few small glimpses of Gloria in her white hair turban, and little did I know that that turban was going to magically turn golden. Ooh. That turban carried us between worlds, my friends. Between worlds. Oh, Phyllis's Thanksgiving, it's a wonderful life dream. It's a wonderful Thanksgiving. What the heck kind of drugs were they on when they came up with this idea? I don't know, but kudos. Kudos. Bravos. Man, I'm so glad that they did not spoil it in last week's previews, too, because they could have given us the clip of Golden Glow and the golden turban, but no, they kept it under wraps. They showed us the white turban. If they had gone directly to gold turban, I would have lost my mind too early. I would have lost it last week, but they didn't do that. They let it be a surprise, and oh, what a surprise. Oh, what a surprise it was. I mean, I'll start it off on this note. I mean, it was comedy. I think that episode was meant to be comedy. I think it was meant to be irreverent. I think it was making fun of itself, you know. It gave the cast the chance to let their hair down and do something a little bit different and to act a little bit different. I noticed that Eric Braeden seemed to be in a really good mood. He seemed to be having a blast with it all. And even somebody like Eileen Davidson, her character is not normally funny, and yet she seemed a little more relaxed. She seemed like she was having a little bit of more fun with it. Everybody seemed like they were having fun with it. And what a way to bring Judith Chapman back as Gloria. I mean, she just so totally sold it as Golden Glow. What could she have been thinking when she got that script? What could she have been thinking while she was filming these scenes? I mean, whether she was rolling her eyes or rolling on the floor, I don't know. But she somehow pulled it all off with this over-the-top ridiculousness. And never to be outdone, never to be upstaged. Michelle Stafford tied it all together with heart and style and comedic skill. I think Michelle Stafford is even better at comedy than she is at drama. And that's saying something, because I think that she's a really good dramatic actress too. Maybe the fact that she is such a strong comedic actress and such a strong physical comedic actress is what drives some viewers nuts about her. I know some folks just don't like that, don't care for it, don't really like physical comedy, and that's a legit reason. Humor is very subjective, and it just may not be your style. Michelle Stafford as Phyllis, her style might not be the thing that hits your funny bone. So what was your takeaway opinion on Phyllis after all of this, after all of the Thanksgiving spectacle? Was it too much turkey for you? Let's take the pulse of the Y&R Chat community once again with a brand new poll for the week. Phyllis's approval rating. Do you approve or disapprove of Phyllis after all of this and at this point in time? So interpret what you will from that question, approval or disapproval. You can interpret it as approval or disapproval of Phyllis's character, of Phyllis and the actress who plays her, of Phyllis as she's written on the page. However you want to interpret your approval or disapproval vote is totally up to you. Are you in the crowd of vagabonds at Crimson Lights applauding her, giving her a round of applause? Were you joining in with the Newman family, giving 3 cheers for Phyllis? Or were you at the Abbott, more on the side of the Abbott Thanksgiving at Society, denying her a seat at the table? Go to yrchat.com. Let me know how you're feeling about Phyllis this week. Also, be sure to let me know if you would like to borrow the golden turban, the golden glasses, and the black and gold feather boa that Golden Glow was wearing this week. Would you like to borrow that for your upcoming holiday events? That was something else. I mean, I'm sorry, Michelle Stafford. I'm sorry, Phyllis, but Gloria stole the show. She did steal the show. She wasn't even in it that much. Not gonna lie, I went back and rewatched that episode, and I just watched Gloria's scenes. I'm sorry. I just wanted to see the Gloria. There wasn't even that much of her, and yet she totally stole it. Oh, she just looks so crazy. Gold turban, gold sunglasses. They were like sunglasses, and that big feather boa. Oh my goodness. There were so many outfit changes in that episode. I don't know if we've ever had so many outfit changes in one single episode, but I thought that Phyllis looked gorgeous in each and every one of her outfits, especially that brown blouse, silky, shiny brown blouse with the brown skirt and the brown belt that tied it all together. Brown on brown on brown. I love that. But they were different tones of brown, so it was just absolutely blended together and in gorgeousness. She looked like the most beautiful turkey in the pen. I loved it. And I loved the red sequin dress that she was wearing in the at the very end of her dream. Oh, it was sparkly, and she just looked so beautiful in red. I think that's the trend of the season. Sequins. Everyone in sequins. Because Phyllis was wearing red sequins. Nikki was in blue sequins. Ashley was in sequins. Tracy was in purple sequins. It's sequins for holiday 2021. Well, above and beyond all of the flashiness, this episode did have some poignant self-awareness, but it was all kind of presented through a funny lens, but it was still poignant at times. I mean, what would the world look like if Phyllis were right about everything except for the most obvious thing, her feelings for Jack? This episode had a lot of answers to questions that the viewers have been asking for weeks. I felt like there were points where the episode itself were making arguments that we've been making all along. I mean, what made Phyllis think that she was ever going to fit in with the Newman family. They would just as much assume carve her up and eat her for dinner than invite her to the dinner as a guest. So it was absurd. I mean, the absurdity of that scene with her laughing and chopping it up with the Newmans, it was equally as absurd of her to think that she would ever fit in with them, that she would ever be clinking glasses with the Newmans, and that she would ever be able to fit in after all that's gone on between them. And why hasn't anyone mentioned that Phyllis cheated on Jack with his brother not even that long ago? Well, there it was. This episode answered that. Leave it to beautiful Tracy to bring up the point that we were all thinking, that we've all been saying. And then Phyllis faced Billy in her dream. I will say the Billy part of it was the weakest part for me. I think it's just Phyllis looking for relationship advice from Billy felt a little weak and a little odd. Phyllis said, "Billy and I are the same. We're both reckless and wild, and yet somehow Billy has managed to keep his relationship intact, and I want to know how to do that too." And I just thought, yeah, I mean, maybe Billy has figured out the secret of life and relationships, but I don't think so. I think it's less of Billy's doing currently, and I think it speaks more to Lily's patience and strength of commitment to him rather than to his ability to hold his life and his relationships together. But yeah, Phyllis faced her insecurities there at Society, you know. What if she was not the undisputed love of Jack's life? What if there was some other competition for his affection, like Gloria? How would that make Phyllis feel if Gloria were the woman on Jack's arm instead of her? I know how it would make me feel. I'm not gonna lie, for that single instant, when Gloria showed up on Jack's arm and was looking into his eyes and he was looking into hers, for that single instant, all the world felt right to me. You have no idea how badly I wanted to just stay right there in that moment and never leave. Oh, it was like a Thanksgiving gift for me. Even it was probably never going to happen. Y&R's never going to reunite Jack and Gloria, so it was just like a nice Thanksgiving gift to me. It sort of fed my fantasy there because Gloria just looked so natural on Jack's arm. It just totally worked for me. Would it be too much to ask to keep Golden Glow forever? Would it be too much to ask to bask in the golden glow forever? Apparently, yes. Apparently, all good things must come to an end. Phyllis wakes up from her dream with a bed that was covered in potato chips, by the way. Did you see how she was munching down on those potato chips and then just like tossing them into the bed before she fell asleep? It was like munch, munch, munch. And then she just got sick of them and tossed the greasy, crummy potato chips right into her sheets so carelessly. I couldn't even handle it. Honestly, that just further confirms my feeling that she and Nick were the perfect match. Both of them have no respect for the bed. Potato chips and tennis shoes in the bed, these two were made for each other. No respect at all. I really don't think that Jack is going to be okay with that. Somehow Jack Abbott strikes me as the kind of guy who would very neatly take off his loafers and slide them underneath the bed before climbing in. He also probably keeps his food on a tray. On the tray. Jack had a Thanksgiving meal with all the trimmings sent up to Phyllis's room, and at the end of the episode, they were alone together, sharing a Thanksgiving meal. Her in her hotel room in her robe, and him on the jet, just talking on a video call and just chatting and eating and being comfortable. That's sort of what family is and what family does. And I thought it was a really nice way to end the episode. There was this beautifully blended split screen shot of them seeming as if they were together, but knowing that they were apart, they were sort of separately together. And Phyllis, I think, was relaxing into the realization that she had found the answers that she was looking for. What a bummer! Jack and Ashley had to trade the Abbott family Thanksgiving table for a private jet this year. Probably had to pull everything down from the little onboard tray this year. That's disappointing. Y&R's doing everything they can to make excuses for the fact that they are not putting back up that Abbott kitchen set. They have got to do anything and everything they can to cover up the fact that they just don't have that set anymore or something. Something happened to that kitchen set, because they're not going back on that. It must have got broken up and sent to another show or something. I don't know. Society, private jet, anywhere but the Abbott house. At least Jack was able to finagle himself a turkey dinner on the jet. But Ashley apparently was too busy with the quest at hand. I wonder, since Jack was able to get himself a turkey dinner, he was able to get Phyllis a turkey dinner, was he also able to scrounge something up for Ashley too? It was her Thanksgiving too. And might I add, what about the flight staff? You dragged a flight staff along with you on Thanksgiving. Did you get them a Thanksgiving dinner? Here's a stupid side note that I was reminded of as we were on the jet this week. Do you remember Victor's private jet pilot, Wally? This Thanksgiving, does anyone remember Wally? Let's have a moment of silence for Wally. Do you think he's retired? We haven't heard from him in a while. I'd like to think that perhaps Wally and Connie, Victor's receptionist, retired and got married. We don't hear from him anymore, but they're definitely happily ever after. Let's pretend. Wally and Connie, the perfect match. Well, we got a little preview for next week, and it looks like Abby is finally going to come into contact with her perfect match. Chancellor is alive and well, and I don't see the problem. He looks healthy as a horse. Seems to be nothing wrong with him whatsoever. He remembers Abby, he embraces her, but he says that he couldn't tell her that he was alive because that would put her into great danger. Danger, Is that danger going to be following him around? Is he either going to have to stay in Spain, or is the danger going to end up, following him back to Genoa City? Perhaps creating a dangerous environment that a newborn shouldn't be around, and that possibly someone might want to argue is too dangerous for a newborn to be around, perhaps bringing that issue to the courts. At the penthouse, Daddy Devon is adjusting to his new role splendidly. He's feeding the baby, playing peekaboo with the baby, doing business with the phone in one hand and a stuffed animal in the other, and falling asleep on the couch with the baby in his arms, which you're not really supposed to do, but okay, it's imaginary. Oh, Elena came by this week to give her medical opinion about a rash that the baby had. And when I saw her, I thought, wow, has it been forever since we've seen Elena? Have we even seen Elena and or Nate since we got back from Tuscany? I don't know why, but it just seemed like forever since we'd laid eyes on her. And then Amanda walked through the door to find Elena and Devon alone together. I cannot believe that Amanda has totally forgotten about that time where she walked into that same very room with Elena and Devon together alone, and they had just cheated together, only she didn't know it. And she ended up just standing there foolishly folding up their sex blanket after they just did the naughty on the floor right there. I can't believe she's way too cool with Elena being there. That's all I'm saying. Way too cool. Amanda's just being way too cool about all of this. I guess she's just got other things on her mind. She's got her own life going on. The Sutton verdict came back in without much fanfare, really. I mean, guilty as charged. Bye-bye, just wipe our hands clean of that. Bye-bye, Sutton, see you later. Sorry that storyline was such a disappointment. I mean, Imani and Amanda came and told us together, and it was just sort of matter of fact. It was very somber. It was just, okay, over dinner, Sutton, blah, blah, blah. You know, just, I don't know, it didn't have very much impact. But then again, I guess neither did the story. I mean, I guess that's the, I don't think there's going to be more of the story unless I'm wrong. I imagine that that's just the last we're going to see or hear from him. But the good news is plans are underway to get the Sinclair and Benedict law offices up and running. Or is it Benedict and Sinclair? Is it Sinclair and Benedict or Benedict and Sinclair? I guess we'll just have to battle that out and find out. The bigger, greater good news for me, though, is the fact that Imani revealed that Naya is considering moving to Genoa City. Yay! Naya! I love that. I just love it. But there was a little bit of foreshadowing there because Imani seemed a little worried that Naya was going to get in there and start micromanaging the daughter's new business venture, and I can so totally see that. I hope that's where it's heading because I just can see Naya being a total busybody. I can just see that Naya is really used to having control over her little slice of the world. She's used to having people do exactly what she tells them to do. And I think that sets up some really good conflict here. Like Imani and Amanda love their mother, but they want their independence, you know. That could be fun. So yeah, I mean, Naya's gonna maybe get up in there and challenge the girls and be a little bit of a thorn in their side, hopefully lightheartedly. But Naya is also going to need something other than her daughters to focus on. I know I keep saying this, but if Naya is going to be moving to Genoa City, then her husband is gonna have to come too. Presumably she's gonna have a husband to bring with her to Genoa City. So we are either going to have to cast him and fold him into the mix, or we're going to have to get rid of him so that Naya can hook up with somebody else, which is kind of my preference in a way. I'd kind of like to see Naya dating around Genoa City. I'd like to see her dating around town. If she's coming to Genoa City, then we are going to have to get started on getting her passport stamped. I am really glad that Noah opened up about his broken heart this week to Faith. Faith is definitely old enough to participate in these types of conversations. I know that she's young and she doesn't have a lot of relationship experience, but sometimes getting a youthful perspective can be a really helpful guidepost for someone who is older and who does have more experience. I don't think young people and their opinions and thoughts should be dismissed. So I really liked that Faith was there to talk with Noah and to give him some perspective. And plus it puts Faith into some more scenes with her family and it makes her feel like she is more a part of the show. So it was revealed this week that Noah had a girlfriend in London. She was an artist, just like him, and something just went wrong, and Noah still can't quite put his finger on what it was. Maybe it was just one of those quiet realizations that sneaks up on you. It happens. He theorized that maybe she felt a little bit intimidated by his career because there had always been a competitiveness between them, and his career started to take off maybe a little faster than hers did, so perhaps she felt threatened by that, and that just maybe made them start to argue all the time, and it became a cycle of them arguing and making up and arguing and making up until one day they just didn't make up. Sounds a little bit like how Mariah and Tessa's relationship has been going lately. Arguing and making up, and then arguing and then making up. And will they argue again? Yes. And will they make up? I don't know. Time will tell. But what is so very easy to tell is that Noah and Tessa are comfortable together. They seem to speak the same language, and the way that he looks at her says to me, I never got over you. Tessa, though, seems unaware that anything more could be going on with Noah. She seems innocent about anything more possibly going on in his mind because her mind is so completely focused on Mariah. I mean, so much so that Tessa is overthinking. Tessa is trying too hard. I mean, deleting a very simple little funny recorded message, like a video message to Mariah, deleting it because it wasn't right, I mean, and then re-recording it and asking Noah to help her with it. I just feel like at this stage in Tessa and Mariah's relationship, I mean, they've been together a while. Tessa should feel comfortable being herself, even if it's not right, in quotes, even if it's dorky, or even if she messes something up or says something silly. Like, she should feel comfortable with her partner. She should not have to fumble around and second guess every word she says and re-record herself. That's not what a relationship should be about. You shouldn't be re-recording yourself to make yourself seem more right for the other person. You should just be yourself. There's just this nervousness there with Tessa when it comes to Mariah, a nervousness around Mariah, and that nervousness is just really starkly contrasted at this point by the comfort that she seems to feel around Noah. Nick and Sharon have been concerned about Noah since he moved back to town, but together they saw him at the coffee house with Faith and Tessa, and Nick and Sharon seemed to feel reassured that everything would be all right. In fact, Faith told them, hey guys, I talked to Noah. He had a breakup. He's upset about it. I'm not going to break his confidence by giving you the details, but just know he's okay. And I thought that was just so awesomely mature of Faith. And Nick and Sharon had this wonderful moment that they got to share together of watching their two children, realizing that they're almost grown up now. Like, these are the two children that used to toddle at their feet, and now the kids are giving each other life advice. Like, that is a real moment right there. And maybe that's a moment that some of you experienced this Thanksgiving week, being with your families, like looking around at your family and thinking, when did these kids grow up? Like, when did we get old? Like, when did that happen? Oh. But in this case, I think it's going to be a bonding force for Nick and Sharon in the coming weeks. I think that Nick and Sharon are going to continue to watch Noah's feelings grow for Tessa. I think they're going to recognize what that looks like, and perhaps they're also going to have a realization that their own feelings are growing for each other. Victor and Adam were busy plotting the next stage of their Crush Billy Abbott plan when Ashland happened upon their open door. And Ashland stood there for a minute listening to them plot And then he stepped in the room to announce that he is perfectly happy with how everything has gone down with all of this, and perfectly happy to go along with whatever their next move is. I find all of that completely ridiculous if you think about it. Like, in reality, Ashland Locke would be in the middle of a PR nightmare right now. A news story was published about a major fraud that he committed, and yeah, it was retracted a day later, but half of the world would still believe the original story, half of the world would believe the retraction, and reporters would be blowing up his phone. They would be hounding him on every doorstep for a comment. Then there would be a bunch of other news reporters who wanted to do their own research and write their own stories about it. Those reporters would be coming to the exact same conclusions that Nick and Billy and Victor all did. And then there'd be 400 new news stories about it. Not to mention the social media backlash. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry on Twitter would be falling over themselves to comment about Ashland Locke. It would be a nightmare. There's no way he should want this. There's no way he should be okay with this. But apparently everything in Ashland and Victoria's life is honky-dory. Except the cancer. Except the cancer. That's the one hitch. But for the most part, he seems to be dealing with that splendidly. Maybe a dizzy spell here and there. But that must just be the new treatments. That's just his body getting better. Woo, I'm just a little dizzy. Must just be me getting better. Ashland brings Victoria up to speed about the Newman Media versus Chancecom situation. And Victoria, ever the savvy businesswoman, figures, hey, there could be an opportunity for me in all of this. After all, the company that eventually became Chancecom was originally a Newman Enterprises division, and she sold it to Jill, but Victor was really unhappy with her about that. I mean, it really infuriated him that she would dare sell off their media division, let alone selling it off to Billy. So Victoria very smartly theorizes that, well, Daddy was so mad about me selling it in the first place. Wouldn't he be mad if I didn't at least try to get it back? And then she twirled her mustache, and she swirled her cape, and she said, "Mwahaha." And then she went to Billy, and she made him an offer. It's an offer that would totally undermine Newman Media. It would totally undermine Adam and Victor, and it would put her into competition with Newman Media and Adam and Victor, and Ashland would be right there by her side. Has anyone noticed recently, as I have noticed recently, that Richard Burgi as Ashland Locke has that famous William Shatner-esque, Christopher Walken-esque speech pattern, like, I do not pause in the end of my sentences. I pause in the middle of my sentences, and then I begin a new sentence in an unnatural place. I just string my sentences together, and I also talk with my hands as if I were about to pass you a tiny basketball. Billy and Lily are just left to mull over Ashland and Victoria's buyout offer, but they did take a moment to talk about their relationship and to confirm that no matter what decision is made, their personal relationship is still intact. They may, unfortunately, be divided when it comes to their careers now, but they still are going to remain strong as a couple. Either way, Billy would have to step down from the co-CEO position at Chancecom. He would have have to walk away. He would have to find something else to do with his career and his life. But Lily, under Victoria's offer, would be invited to stay as CEO. She would be able to run the merged company as she pleases. And there may even be some other parts of the Newman Locke empire that could be folded into her control. So it would almost be a bigger and better position for Lily. But of course, the final decision is up to Jill. Jill is the owner of the company, and we saw in the previews for next week that Jill may, I guess, pass that decision over to Lily, because Jill in the previews is saying that she would like for Lily to take over as the head of the whole Chancellor Industries, not just Chancecom, Chancellor Industries. So really, Lily's got a couple of different paths that she could go here. Sure, she could go over and merge with Newman Media, but that doesn't seem likely. She could go over to Newman Locke and take their offer and perhaps even make Chancecom bigger and better, or she could just take over Chancellor Industries. Lily is coming out okay in all of this, at least. But I don't know what that means for Chancecom. Will Chancecom fold, or will it get bigger? I mean, maybe it could be Chancellor Industries versus Newman Media versus Newman Locke. I don't know. Well, whether Chancecom chooses to fold or not, or if they decide they want to stay strong and fight, I think the fact that Victoria is now sending the kids off to boarding school is telling me that things are about to get ugly between Billy and Victoria. Like, no more using the kids as an excuse to keep the gloves on. With Johnny and Katie safely on the other side of the ocean like good little soap opera kids, there's going to be nothing stopping Mommy and or Daddy's girlfriend from having an all-out, drag-down, knock-'em-out battle. Adam wants to make Sally a social media star. Oh, please. Do you mean to tell me that Sally Spectra hasn't already thought of that? I mean, do you mean to tell me that Sally Spectra is not already a social media star? She is probably on Instagram every hour on the hour, recording herself, developing her following. Like, it's probably a much rarer occasion that she does not have a camera pointed on herself. But okay, let's pretend. Sally Spectra, lights, camera, action. Right. Well, except Sally is not getting the kind of action that she really wants, which is the kind of action that includes Adam naked between the sheets. So she tells him that she's given up on that. She's just given up on any kind of personal relationship between them. And of course, that is true. I know that is true because she felt the need to mention it. When I have given up on something or someone, I make sure to let people know. What good is a win if you can't gloat a little bit? That was our quote from last week. It was a tricky one, I will admit, because the answer is Jesse Gaines. What good is a win if you can't gloat a little bit? He said that to Billy last week as he was revealing that Billy had been had. I thought that was a fun little moment. Normally I don't pick the peripheral characters, but I feel like Jesse Gaines has been on so much lately that it made it okay. A couple of you guys guessed it, but not as many as I thought. So congratulations, Daisy, Tina, Henry, Tanya, Keisha, Sharita, and Diana, because you all got it right. That's very good. Very, very good. You were paying attention. A lot of people guessed Adam, and a lot of people guessed Victor. So, I mean, that was a good guess, but you can tell that those guys really heard it. So, good job, everybody. Here's a new one for you. This one might be tough. I don't know. Sometimes the past can become the present. I think that's very true, especially in soaps, right? Sometimes the past can become the present. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now on to your comments, starting with Victoria, who says, "Good job, Sally. Bait and hook. It's just a matter of time before Adam succumbs to your plan. Yes. And Daisy says, Chloe's right. I think Sally might be planning to get Adam in a very classic way, saying she doesn't want him, then he will just want her more. But how dramatic would it be if while Adam was pursuing Sally, Chelsea returned? You say Chloe, but I think you mean Chelsea, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, Sally said, oh, no, I'm not going to pursue Adam. Oh, no, I'm over it. Right. And Chelsea said, well, wouldn't I be crazy to be pursuing him when Chelsea comes back? Which lets you know that that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly how that drama is going to unfold, and I'm looking forward to it. Oh, yes. Well, let's talk about the woman of the hour. Michelle says, all hail Queen Golden Glow. And Victoria says, Allie's gonna flip when she sees that gold turban. Indeed, you know me so well. And Superplex says, bring back the glam, Gloria. You make Elton John blush. Those glasses were totally Elton John. And Calmness says, my holiday wish is that Phyllis's dream was foreshadowing a Gloria Jack romance next year. Hashtag wishful thinking. Hashtag if only. Oh, Calmna, if only, if only. Well, Daisy also says, I really liked Phyllis's dream sequence. It was cute, funny, and a little sad. But I think it gave Phyllis some perspective on how to move forward. In her dreams, Phyllis was upset that she was not with Jack. Now I think Phyllis may see that she and Jack are right for each other. Sharing a Thanksgiving meal from afar may be the beginning of Phyllis and Jack's new rekindled relationship. I hope we get a December wedding. That would be pretty fast, wouldn't it? If they were like, I love you, let's get married, why waste any time? December wedding. Oh my gosh, last year, no, it was last New Year's Eve, we had Sharon and Ray's wedding. Who would have guessed Sharon and Ray would have lasted the whole of 2021? But you're right, ending the year on a wedding would be really nice. Oh, Leslie says, wow, Jack, wow. My heart is yours. Kudos to the writers for that scene with Phyllis and Jack's Friendsgiving. I loved it. What a little treat. And I'm not even a Phyllis and Jack fan. Yeah, it was a really nice moment. Friendsgiving. I like that term. I think we're going to find it ends up being a little more than that. But, you know, where it is right now, yeah, that does describe it. I think it's going to move forward toward a lovesgiving. But Friendsgiving for now, yeah, that's the place where you got to start a relationship. Superplex says, sorry, but there's no way Phyllis is more compatible with Jack than with Nick. You know, that's an interesting word to choose, Superplex. Compatibility. Yeah, and that may be it. That may be about how I feel, too. I believe Phyllis loves Jack. I believe Jack loves Phyllis. But to me, I do think that maybe compatibility-wise, that Phyllis would be more suitable with Nick. And yeah, compatibility is a whole different beast from love. I mean, they're just two different things. Well, Diana shared a clip of an argument that Billy and Phyllis had at the end of their relationship. I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2018, but it was after Billy slept with Summer. Phyllis and Billy were arguing right at the tail end of their relationship, which was relevant to what was going on this week. And Diana says, Billy tells Phyllis in this clip that she likes having men on the side and pretends to be the cool ex. He tells her that she always had Jack to string along, and then fast forward years later, here we are. Billy's comments seem to have some merit. Realistically, Billy's words would never leave Phyllis. They would always be remembered by Phyllis, and especially in the situation she's in now. I would think it would make her think twice. Oh, you know, that's really good that she always likes to have men on the side, kind of waiting in the wings while she pretends to be the cool ex. So I like that perspective of Billy's there. But now this week he's telling her that she is deserving of love and seems to be encouraging her to realize her feelings for Jack and to try to get him back. Superplex says stringing Jack along is a good metaphor. I think Jack is her fallback plan when things go awry with Nick or whomever Phyllis happens to be entangled with at the moment. In reality, the true deep-seated love of her life would probably be Nick. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, although probably the true deep-seated love of Phyllis's life is Phyllis. But yeah, I would, my lean toward still thinking it would be Nick. But the way that Phyllis announced herself to the Abbotts as Jack's true love of Jack's life, it was almost like it was an affront to her ego to think that it was anyone other than her in Jack's heart. It made me think that she needed to be Jack's true love. And just because she may be Jack's true love doesn't necessarily mean that he is hers. But I guess the writers can shift it any way they want to. Well, Sharita says, I didn't think I'd like this Phyllis-centered episode. I was wrong. I loved her taking stock of herself and realizing that she was her own worst enemy in her relationship with Jack. In case of infidelity, not only is it important for your spouse to forgive you and move on, or if you choose to stay together, but it's also important for you to forgive yourself if you were the cheater or you were guilty or your insecurities. When will your spouse want payback and that'll eat at you and cause you to behave irrationally like Phyllis tends to do and not lean into the happiness and the forgiveness. I like how they highlighted it in this dream. I fell in love with Jack when he orchestrated the Thanksgiving dinner with her thousands of miles and a whole other continent away. Jack's grand gestures always melt me. My last thought for the dream is that I do hope Sharon and Phyllis get to do a good, maybe friendship place. I feel like Sharon is well liked, but has no real girlfriends. While Phyllis may not be everyone's cup of tea, she does actually have real girlfriends. Yeah, the Phyllis and Sharon part of that was was pretty weak for me also, only because they just really haven't had much of a relationship, and you know, the episode prior, Sharon was kind of poking at her a little bit about what had gone down with Nick, and so I guess I don't see them as friends. I don't really see Phyllis and Sharon as friends. Yeah, they had some nice, I mean, everybody was nice to Sharon when she has cancer. It's like, I mean, you know, being nice to somebody when they got cancer. How about being nice to somebody when things are just like, you know, normal every day? Yeah, I don't see them as friends right now, but it might be interesting to see them as friends in the future. But yeah, you know, and I butchered the beginning of your comment here, but this was a really good comment about if there is an agreement between the couple to move forward from an infidelity, then yes, you have to forgive yourself too. You can't be continuing to think, oh, when's this going to come back to bite me? Is he thinking that I'm cheating? Like you do have to make a conscious effort to really try to move on, and as does the partner. Well, Sandra did not enjoy the dream episode. Sandra says the dream episode featuring Phyllis and Phyllis's sequins, and Phyllis's hair, and Phyllis's ego left me annoyed again. It's as though Michelle Stafford is one of the executive producers on the show and has a say in its content. It's so self-absorbing. She's on our screens nearly every day, even in scenes where it doesn't make sense for her to be, like the wedding in Tuscany. Ever since Sharon's battle with cancer, I've been waiting to sink my teeth into a storyline. I mean, go deep with emotion and become invested. But it hasn't happened, not even with Sharon's diagnosis. This has nothing to do with COVID. It's the writing. It just seems like fluff. I feel like all the stories are right there on the surface. For me, being emotionally invested in a storyline is a reason to watch. Oh, Sandra, I just so identify, because this is exactly where I was right before Michelle Stafford left the first time. Or not the first time, but the last time. Yeah, she was up in everything. She was in scenes that she didn't need to be in. Her personality is so big, it was just grating me. And I don't know what changed. I wish I could tell you. I wish I had the secret to help draw you back in somewhere into Y&R. I don't know. The show has just changed so much over the years, and this is not my favorite writing team. I've been very vocal about that, but I just feel for you because it does. If you're not a fan of Phyllis, if Phyllis grates your nerves, then a large portion of the show is grating your nerves because she is in so much of it. I don't know how much control she has behind the scenes, Michelle Stafford that is, but she certainly she gets in there. I think they do love to use her. I think she is very versatile. I think that she does perform the drama well as the comedy. She gives it her all. I don't know. There's something about that I like and admire. The fact that when she's in a scene, she's in it, whether it's dinosaur bones or it's this deep abiding love with either Jack or Nick. No, I think she's in it to win it, that's for sure. But I totally get how, if it's just not your style, if you don't like that type of like humor or she just is not your cup of tea, I can see how it would really destroy the show for you. But as you say, there aren't a lot of really deep, let's sink our teeth in type storylines. It does seem like a lot of what goes on right now, it seems like it is driven by I don't know, some sort of external force. There's a lot, maybe some sort of political forces or something behind the scenes. We need so-and-so to be in more scenes. We need so-and-so to be in less scenes. So-and-so really wants to do this type of story, whether or not it makes sense. So, yeah, the storytelling that was so meaningful and deep that we got with the Bell family, it just, it's different today. It really is. And you're right. It's funny that you're like, this episode features Phyllis's sequence, Phyllis's hair, Phyllis's ego. Yeah, it is very that. You're spot on. I just wish I had the magic gift to make it all better for you, Sandra, but all I can offer is I get it. I do get it. I really do. And it'll be interesting to see how those poll results come down. Are the majority of people liking Phyllis right now? Like, is this connecting with you? Is Phyllis's plight hitting you in the right spot, or are you just like wishing she was not on your screen? Well, Victoria says, oh boy, the Newman Thanksgiving with Phyllis was stuffed full of fantasy. It was hilarious to see Victor and Nikki bend over backwards to praise Phyllis and tell her how right she's been all along. Nick looked very handsome with his dimples on full display. What a nice change to have him so agreeable. Most unreal was Nikki complimenting Phyllis on her sage wisdom. What a great fantasy. Yeah, and that's all it was. It was farce, it was meant to be farce, and something about that was a nice break from the day-to-day for me. Sue W. says, my favorite part of so many was a simpering Ashley making the goo-goo hands heart when Gloria appeared. Too funny. What a great cast who clearly revel in happiness and thankfulness for working together, and a very savvy conclusion geared to those still opposed or on the fence regarding a possible FAC revival. A definite win for old Jackie boy today. Yeah, I think people were really swooning about Jack, and I'm glad you mentioned Ashley's heart hands. That was a real moment. Gary says, no disrespect, but the Abbotts are shot out. 2 years and they can no longer provide a Thanksgiving in their own home, as Y&R can't afford a spread, much less a dining room that the house already comes with. What is it, Gary? What is it? Why can't they just trot out that set for one day? Yeah, it has been 2 years, maybe even 3. But there was this line where Phyllis actually addressed that, and I thought that was very smart. Something's going on that we don't know about, but they did sort of nod to it in the writing, because there was a moment where Phyllis had seen that the Abbotts were at society. She saw that Gloria was with Jack and not her. Phyllis drags Gloria back to another part of the restaurant, and they start to argue. And Phyllis said this whole dream is like a mashup of irrational incidents, like the Abbotts having Thanksgiving dinner at society instead of their home. That's what she said. So it's a mashup of irrational incidents. And I thought that was really an apt way to describe the episode, but also a little bit of a nod, like the writer saying, yeah, we know. I don't know why it is we can't have the set, but yeah, we know. We're not doing the Abbott Thanksgiving at their home. We know it's irrational. We know it doesn't make sense. So I guess whatever's going on, I'm just going to choose to forgive it, I suppose. Well, Sharita says, when Phyllis was talking to Daniel, I kept hoping they would just recast the role and bring the aged-up Lucy to be friends with Faith and Moses. They need a little circle. Also on that note, maybe they will soar as Johnny and Katie, and they can all hang together. After all, them go to boarding school and come back 18 in 6 months or less. While we're at it, we can age up Connor and let him fall for Lucy, who will unleash her grandma Sheila inner bad girl on Genoa City. They could be a risk-taker couple, and that would rival the two goody two-shoes, Faith and Moses. Yeah, I like that. Connor and Lucy being the two misfits and rivaling with Faith and Moses as the goody two-shoes. That's a good idea. When are they going to do that? You know they're going to do that with Lucy eventually. The question is when. Diana says, I was also wondering why Phyllis wouldn't be calling her sister on Thanksgiving. She only has one. If Phyllis is going to be calling up family, she should be calling Avery as well to say hi. Amanda's always talking to Phyllis about her newfound sister. Phyllis never mentions hers. Phyllis reconnected with her sister after a long time as well. Phyllis and Amanda both share that experience. You know, it's kind of funny, Diana, and this is speaking to Sandra's point a little bit too. They don't mention Avery, and the rumor was that Michelle Stafford did not like Avery, that she didn't like that character being in. Now, I don't know how true that is, but there did seem to, I remember there being some buzz that maybe Michelle Stafford didn't exactly like sharing the spotlight with a sister. That Phyllis didn't like sharing the spotlight with a sister, and so they got rid of her, even though I really liked Avery. I thought she was fun. She was smart. Well, I mean, she wasn't exactly fun, but it was fun to see her when she did get fun. Yeah, that's a little bit interesting. I guarantee you Phyllis likes being the center of attention. But it's a good point as to why. I mean, they can't even mention her. They can't even mention that Phyllis has a sister. No. We better not even go there. We don't want the fans crying for a bring back Avery. That would just not suit Phyllis's ego. Well, speaking of Amanda, Daisy says, Sutton's trial is still crazy to me. What was he convicted of? I don't think it was ever established why he was put on trial in the first place. Who brought it to the district attorney and why? I had hoped that Richard would be the secret that brought everything to court, just to get back at Sutton for taking his family from him. Or have Naya be the real killer, and Sutton has been protecting her. Since neither happened, I hope the whole thing gets a wrench thrown in and Sutton is set free. And then Amanda discovers that her father is still alive. That's how I thought it was going to go too, Daisy. I was almost sure that Amanda's father would end up still being alive, but no, they just decided not to go in that direction. I think they're done with it. I mean, there's just so little attention being given to it, and even the fact that there was just no fanfare given even to the verdict is just tells me they're just done. Well, Victoria says Victor has given Devon his seal of approval. He mentioned how being protective is a part of being a father. Devon feels he doesn't have any experience in fathering. Victor told Devon how he would be able to find this out as Dominic grows. Victor let Devon know that he's glad Dominic will be protected by Devon. Surprisingly, Devon is getting a lot of encouragement to take care of Dominic. Soon, things will be set up for him to feel justified to claim his son. Yeah, Victor really seemed to be validating Devon as Dominic's father, wasn't he? I thought that was interesting, that nobody's saying, well, you're not really the father, Chance is the father. Everybody's saying, yeah, you step in there, that is your son. So he's going to Devon is going to more and more feel that that's true, and might make him feel more and more entitled to having a legal parental right over Dominic. Sherrod says, so Tessa has known Mariah for 5 years, been a couple for 4 years. How does she not know what kind of pie she would like? How many meals would they have shared at this point? They've shared at least 3 Thanksgivings already as a couple. Yes, it's things like this that bother me. Sherrod, that's what we count on you for. It is totally ridiculous. I know, it's almost like Tessa and Mariah's relationship is regressed to just dating, just getting to know each other. Tee-hee-hee, what kind of pie do you like? Oh, did I say the wrong thing? Yeah, no, I mean, I thought their relationship has survived a lot. They've been through a lot. They know each other so intuitively that Tessa was getting, like, psychic messages from Mariah while she was being kidnapped. Can't you just use that psychic power to know intuitively what kind of pie Mariah likes this Thanksgiving? Well, so which is it? Are they like forever connected, or are they like just getting to know each other? Tee-hee. I don't know. But 56% of Y&R chatters would like to see Tessa with Noah over Mariah. Only 44% voting for Mariah. Although that's a pretty close vote. 56 want Tessa and Noah. 44 want Tessa and Mariah. Lisa 115 voted for Tessa and Noah, but I have an ulterior motive. Here's what I would love to see happen with the Dominic storyline. Abby stays away for a long time before she and Chance return home. While they're gone, Devon bonds with Dominic. He allows Mariah to spend time with him and the baby, and they bond as the baby's birth parents. When Abby and Chance return home, Devon and Mariah get married to improve their chances of getting custody against Abby and Chance, and they get involved in a nasty custody battle. I don't care who wins. I just want to see it play out. Tessa and Noah can get back together, and she leaves Mariah's drama behind. This would leave Amanda alone, but perhaps a hotshot lawyer can move into Genoa City and sweep her off her feet. Oh, boy! Devon and Mariah. So is this, in your mind, is it a marriage of convenience, or do they fall back in love in the process? Oh, that's interesting. Never would have thought of that. I mean, it's like, okay, well, Devon is the birth father. I mean, he's the biological father. But, I mean, Abby is, like, it was her egg, right? So it is, Abby is the mother. I mean, genetically also, right? I mean, I think so. I think Abby donated the egg. It was her egg, and it was Devon's sperm. So, I mean, Abby would certainly have a stronger, a stronger claim over the child than Mariah, I would think. I don't know. It's all so convoluted. I've gotten lost along the way. But back to the topic at hand. Marianne V. also voted for Tessa and Noah, saying, I think he's a good friend to her, and she needs someone to talk to because Mariah is obsessed about having a baby and isn't listening to Tessa at all. Maybe Noah can help. Yeah, I think that's probably a lot how a lot of people feel. It's just, Mariah's not focused on Tessa, and here Noah is lending her an ear, and who knows, soon, maybe even more. Sue W. says, this is a tough choice. I want to think Tessa and Mariah should stick together through good and bad, but, well, bottom line, they're not married, so let the obstacles prove too much. Tessa and Noah clearly spark together, but I'd love to see this new guy I'm still loving slow burn into a brand new romance, not rehash an old one and all its baggage. Yeah, that's a good point, Sue W. New, because we got a new guy, not rehashing the old baggage. But Sherrod says, here's the problem with there ever being a romantic relationship between Tessa and Noah. Tessa told Mariah that she never loved Noah and was only using him for his money. Frankly, I never believed that statement. I just rewatched this storyline last week, and I really do feel Tessa cared very much for Noah. I totally agree. I remember that. I cannot forget that she said that. And I really think she was lying when she said it. I do think Tessa had feelings for Noah. I never bought that. It almost seemed like a defense mechanism when she said that she never cared for Noah. She was only using him for his money, almost like she was saying what she wanted saying what she thought other people wanted her to say and wanted to hear. So yeah, I agree. There was a point at the end of Tessa and Noah's relationship where it just kind of got nasty, and she had her whole own issues, and I didn't get the feeling that she didn't love him, and I thought that was always sort of a throwaway line. Like, why'd she have to say that? It negated the whole relationship, which I thought was fine. I thought Tessa and Noah were fine together, and I think they could be fine together again. If the writers do choose to put Tessa and Noah together, I can almost just bet you they're going to wash away any of the history. I don't think they're going to focus on any of that. I think they are going to, if they do start anew, I think they are going to start it anew and not focus too much on the past. There's just certain things I think they would rather us forget. But that goes to show them we're soap fans. We remember everything. We remember all the storylines. Don't even try to get some past us, Y&R writers. Oh, different topic. I love this. Leslie says, wow, Victoria and Ashland are the ones in the wrong. Having an article that you didn't intend to publish compares so much to stealing an inheritance. I so hate Victoria and Ashland. Team Billy and Lily for me all the way. They are the good guys in this situation. I really hate all the Newmans right now except Nick. Yeah, and then Leslie also says, grrr, Ashland telling Victoria that he thought she had gotten over trying to protect her ex. There's nothing wrong with wanting to protect your children's father. Anyone with a heart would, unless they never loved the man to begin with. I used to love to hate Ashland, and now I just hate him, and I'm ready for those treatments to fail. I am sure that this is related to my own need to protect Billy and his portrayer, but I don't believe for a minute Victoria loves Ashland as much as she loved Billy. Yeah, I mean, the Billy and Victoria relationship was very deep, and it is very abiding. And yeah. Well, Ellen says Victoria isn't and shouldn't be protecting Billy. She doesn't want Adam to win, that's all. And of course, she sees the whole scheme against Chancecom as Adam's doing. When it was Victor, start to finish. Adam tried to resist until Billy brought Gaines to Tuscany. Then he agreed to go along with Victor's plan. But of course, Victoria sees everything as Adam's doing and wants to best him by grabbing Chancecom away. Billy gets nothing out of the deal, precisely because he didn't listen to Victoria when she told him to butt out. I'm fine with that part. Good for her. Yeah, I think I do agree that I think Victoria's motive in this, probably at this point, is more about besting Adam and besting Newman Media. I think Victoria's own ego is involved here, and I think that's what her driving force is, as opposed to it being very much about Billy at this point. But I can also see Leslie's point that Ashland has become a little bit more unappealing. There was something about him this week, the way he was just sort of, I don't know, he seemed a little more snaky this week. Something about him, I went, I don't know. Like, the way he was pumping Victoria up made me suspicious of him all over again. I don't know. Superplex says, frankly, Victoria's plan makes no sense. She says her motivation is to prevent Victor's victory lap, to include grinding Billy down into absolute pulp. So, as a gesture of goodwill, she decided to make Newman lock the White Knight to Newman Media's hostile takeover offer. However, she added a proviso: for his own good, Billy has to be removed from his executive position. So essentially, Victoria's offer bore a striking resemblance to Victor's. In either case, Billy loses his job. The question then becomes, how was her offer supposed to benefit Billy? It seems to me her real motivation is not to help Chancecom at all, but to undermine Victor's latest wonderkind, Adam. Yeah, I think that's true, because either way, Billy loses his job. So it's really not as much that Victoria was offering some kind of mercy to Billy. But, again, back to Leslie's point, I feel bad for Billy in all of this. I just can't help it. I mean, I think he worked himself into a corner that he just does not know how to get out of. But it also is so... I feel bad for him in a way, too, because it's like people going, well, you need to be stepped down from this for your own good, is very condescending. And I know Billy is a screw-up, and yeah, I mean, I'm on board with all of that. I mean, I know it in my heart of hearts that Billy, he's just something else, and I wouldn't want to be married to him, and I don't even think I would be exhausted with him being in my family. But at the same time, it's like I just feel bad for anybody who's been that beat down. down. And I would like to see Billy come back out on top. I thought that that's where he was when he started Chancecom. This was supposed to be his fresh start, and yet the core of Billy's character, or the kind of crux of Billy's character and the tragedy of Billy's character, is that he always ends up undermining himself. Well, Sue W. says Ashland is suddenly mighty full of himself these days. Maybe his humbled likability is manufactured. Is Victoria playing right into his wicked hands? I feel a shift coming round, or maybe I'm totally off base. Who knows? Wouldn't be the first time. What's up with you, Ashland? That puts into words exactly what I was thinking, Sue W., that something seemed to have shifted with Ashland. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, we got our romantic wedding and we were all wanting that and couldn't wait to swoon over Ashland and Victoria. But yeah, now that things have settled and they're working together, he seemed snaky or something. Like maybe he had his own agenda that he wasn't. He's not Team Newman Media. And he's not Team Newman Log, that he's Team Ashland. I guess time will tell. It's possible there could be a shift, and maybe we will find out that he was playing Victoria all along. But Ellen says, I don't want a weak, cutesy Ashland. He's supposed to be the Loch Ness Monster. We should see him willing to be ruthless in business. I don't think that means his feelings for Victoria are fake. They may be very alike, simpatical. Oh, that's a good idea there, Ellen, that he's supposed to be the Loch Ness Monster, and we were complaining for so long that we never got to see that. Maybe, just maybe, the writers are finally giving us what we've been asking for. Maybe we're starting to see the Loch Ness Monster rear his head. And yeah, that could be exciting, I know. Daisy says, I'm tired of liar Ashland. I hope he doesn't get what he wants. Also, I can't imagine Victor's happy with Victoria merging this company with the Locks. I've been wondering if Victor has a secret agenda. Maybe he goes along with whatever Locke is doing or wants to do just to make him think he's all in and on his side, and that sets the stage for Victor to ensure the truth about Ashland is revealed. So Ashland then has to completely walk away from the company. Every time somebody says Newman Locke, it hits me like a clunk. Like, how can Victor be okay with this? How can we be okay with this? It needs to be Newman Enterprises. There has to be some kind of way of untwisting that. I do kind of need it to be Newman Enterprises. I would like the Newman Locke part to stop. Just for the sake of the preservation in my mind, I need it to be Newman Enterprises. Maybe we're twisting toward that. Maybe. Hey, Diana says it looks like Victoria's office had a bit of a facelift. The walls look a little greener. The black table looks like it was freshly painted. And I see she has 2 new white office chairs. The office looks a little more vibrant and fresher. Oh, why didn't I notice that, Diana? Okay, I got to make a mental note to look at that next week if we see Victoria's office. I should have seen that. Ooh, a facelift to Victoria's office. Yes, I will keep my eyes open for that. Oh, well, final topic is new Chance. Gary says, what we know from the preview is that Chance does not have amnesia, no new face to be unwrapped from bandages, and is fully cognizant. Who like me was surprised that we would see Abby and Chance Chancellor reunite in each other's arms instead of making us wait for the big moment? I have come to expect these big giveaways in the previews from time to time, but I wonder if the chatters feel this is a mistake. Soaps traditionally have always been about the suspense of what will happen next and making us wait and wait and wait. Yeah, again, here's another not much fanfare moment. It's just, oh, there's new Chance. My only argument to that is possibly that they know we've been waiting. I mean, we have been waiting. Don't forget the 8-9 months that led us up to here. So we have been waiting for this moment, and maybe they just decided they didn't want to torture us any longer. Sharita says, the previews for next week only left me with one thought. New Chance is hot. There you go, Sharita, cutting to the real heart of the matter. New Chance is hot. Yeah, I have to agree. My thought from seeing him in the preview is, new Chance is hot, but he also only looks to be about 20 years old. With that baby face, are we sure he shouldn't be hanging out with Moses and Faith? Oh, everybody, that does it for me this week. I hope you guys had a really nice Thanksgiving. I certainly did because I managed to dodge the dry turkey this year. I mean, it has to have been the past 3-4 years on Y&R Chat. I always complain about the dry turkey at Thanksgiving. Well, this year I hijacked Thanksgiving and I said, we're skipping the turkey. Forget that feather. I made chicken pot pie. I said, just after the wedding and all the craziness, I said, just come on over to Allie's house. I will make you a chicken pot pie. Hey, if Thanksgiving is all about poultry and pie, then chicken pot pie is a perfectly legitimate choice. I made my pie crust from scratch, and I had a really good, yummy filling, like crammed with chicken and cheese and vegetables and potatoes and all the stuff. It was really hearty, really good. I made a little baked apple crumble for dessert and served that over ice cream. It was all very good. Oh, and I made my own bread, of course. You know, I'm a bread maker. I made a whole wheat molasses bread, and I made my own butter too, which is, it sounds impressive, but it's very easy. Made kind of a honey, a sweet butter. So and everybody seemed to enjoy it, and we all had a good time, and it was relaxed, not stressful, especially after the wedding. I mean, oh my goodness, I think we were all so exhausted from that. I had a blast. I really did, and I made use of the dance floor, you'll be happy to know. I did my dancing, and I just said, I don't care who's watching me, I'm going to do my little dance here with my daughter. Oh my gosh, she danced the house down. We were the last ones there. We really were. We just stayed and danced and danced. What a nice week it's been. I mean, it just seems like forever ago at this point, but weddings and Thanksgiving, and I am so I have so much thanks in my life. I'm so grateful for everything that I have, and I'm so grateful for you, and I'm also grateful for all of the lovely comments I got this week. I had lots of people saying that they were grateful for Y&R Chat, and even though I don't focus really hard on that because I don't want to seem self-serving, but if you have left me a message that said you're grateful for Y&R Chat, I just want to say thank you for saying it, because that it helps me know that what I'm doing is good and on track, and it helps me feel understood that you guys that like what I'm doing and are picking up on it and enjoying it. So I thank you for your thanks, and please know that I'm grateful for you guys as well. And I'm grateful for the show. I mean, really, this is just such a wonderful way to be able to have a good topic to chat with people on something that kind of connects us. You know, I'm really into things that connect people, and I think Y&R is that. And I'm looking forward to more. Next week is going to be the new Chance reveal. I'm looking forward to seeing the hotness. And looking to see whatever else drama unfolds. My only wish is we could have more Gloria. I wish there could be a whole nother week of Gloria. Go Gloria! But it was wonderful while it was here. Golden glow. Well, go to yrchat.com to leave your comments about the week, to vote in the poll. I know you guys got some opinions on Phyllis. I know you got some opinions on that. So let it rip and come back and we'll chat about it next week. I love you guys. Have a good one. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.